Look, though, look. Players like this come around once, sometimes in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. There hasn't been
once in a generation, certainly.
But no player in WNBA history has had to deal with this.
The one thing I just don't like, and I don't care what people say, I feel like there's a lot of hate on Caitlin Clark, and I think because she's white.
When old NBA legends talk, people listen, not because they have to, but because these legends have seen everything. They've won championships, faced hard times, and watched greatness with their own eyes. So when these same legends start talking about Caitlin Clark, it means this is no small moment. This is big. They're not just saying nice things because they have to. They're being honest. And sometimes, honesty feels a little uncomfortable. But here's where it gets serious. These legends aren't just praising Caitlin. They're calling out the WNBA too. They're speaking up, loud and clear. People like Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, and George Gervin. These aren't YouTubers or sports writers. These are the men who helped build basketball. And now, they're telling the WNBA to do better. What they're saying, it's more than a compliment. It's a warning. They're putting pressure on the league, on the media, even on the players, the ones who treat Caitlin like a target instead of a teammate. Because if things don't change, the WNBA could lose the one thing it's been chasing for a long time, real, lasting fame. True respect. These legends aren't just watching. They're speaking out. Some are saying Caitlin is like the Tiger Woods of women's basketball. Others say if she's not playing, people stop watching. And some? They're being very real. Calling out hate. Saying this is about race. Saying it's about jealousy, about bitterness. Things no one wanted to admit, until now. And what Magic, Barkley, and Kevin Garnett say next. It's not just shocking. It could change everything. Then there's Jeff Teague. He doesn't talk like a TV expert. He talks like a real person, like your cousin watching the game from the couch. And when someone asked him about Caitlin Clark, he didn't hold back. He didn't give a safe, polished answer. He told the truth.
Ain't nobody gonna watch basketball if she ain't playing.
Ain't nobody going to watch basketball if she ain't playing. That one sentence? It says more than most of the hot takes you hear these days. Jeff Teague wasn't guessing. He wasn't trying to sound dramatic. He was just telling the truth. And yes, the truth hit hard. Think about it. A former NBA All-Star just said, one WNBA player is the reason people are watching games right now. And no, he didn't say it to make Caitlin Clark feel good. He said it because he knows what real star power looks like. And Caitlin has it. She's not just helping bring more fans. She is the reason fans are tuning in. And Teague didn't stop there. He didn't just say nice things about Caitlin. He gave her something even bigger, respect. He treated her like a once-in-a-generation player. Like someone who could truly change the game. He didn't just support her, he lifted her.
She's the best.
She's the best ever, bro. I don't care, bro. She's the best ever, bro.
So is she gonna be like LeBron with the stat?
Let's slow down and really think about what Jeff Teague just said. This wasn't some random barbershop chat. This came from a grown man who played in the NBA at the highest level. And he's already putting Caitlin Clark into greatest of all time talks, even though she's only 2 years into her pro career. But it's not just about her stats. It's about what those stats mean for the future of the game. Jeff Teague sees the sport changing, and Caitlin is leading the way. He's not just saying she'll be good. He's saying she'll dominate, the kind of dominance that leads to trophies, big headlines, and billion-dollar deals. And you know what made this hit even harder? He wasn't smiling. He wasn't playing around. He meant every single word. Jeff Teague isn't someone who gives out praise easily. He's the guy who once said Kawhi Leonard wasn't that great, after guarding him. Jeff keeps it real always. So when someone like him says Caitlin Clark could be the LeBron James of women's basketball, you stop and listen. And the next legend? He didn't even need to say much to show how big Caitlin has become. Michael Thompson, 2-time NBA champ and dad to one of the greatest shooters ever. He's seen all the biggest stars on the court, in locker rooms, behind the scenes. So when he speaks about Caitlin Clark, you pay attention.
When I was in Indy, I didn't care about that. The only thing I remember about Indy is when I was leaving Cambridge Arena in a loading dock, Caitlin Clark walked right by me. And I froze. I didn't say hello to her. How about that? My favorite basketball player outside of Clay was right there in front of me. There she was. And I said, no, I can't do it. But getting back to your question, you're right. That's what I remember most about Indiana. Caitlin Clark was right there next to me.
He didn't freeze up around Michael Jordan. He didn't get nervous standing next to Magic Johnson. But when Caitlin Clark walked by, Michael Thompson couldn't say a word. That's not just a nice compliment. That's pure amazement. Because he wasn't reacting to just a good player. He was reacting to something bigger. A player who's changing the whole game, who's making grown men forget what they were about to say. Caitlin's not just playing in the WNBA. She's reshaping it. And when a man who raised Klay Thompson, one of the greatest shooters ever, says Caitlin Clark is his favorite player, that's not just hype. That's proof. She's made it through every level of the basketball world. From women's basketball to men's, from fans to players, and now, to the legends. And just when it felt like the respect couldn't get any bigger, one of the most famous NBA stars of all time gave her a challenge and a crown. Magic Johnson. He knows exactly what it means to carry a league. He did it himself. With pressure, with style, with millions watching and critics waiting. So when Magic talks about Caitlin Clark, he's not just being nice. He's giving us real perspective.
They're going to be tested by these incredible women who've been in the league for a long time. Caitlin is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best later on by our play. Caitlin still has to play great to become the best WNBA.
That's not hate. That's called having high standards. And coming from Magic Johnson, it's actually a big compliment. He's not just saying Caitlin Clark is famous. He's saying she's on the same path as legends like him and Larry Bird. Caitlin's not being judged with easier rules. She's being compared to the greatest players ever. That's how big her impact is right now. And the best part? Magic isn't doubting her. He's telling her, keep going. The spotlight is on you. Now go take the crown. But not every NBA legend was so calm. One Hall of Famer said what many fans were secretly thinking. Reggie Miller, one of the boldest shooters and trash talkers in NBA history, has never been afraid to say what's on his mind. So when he saw all the cheap shots and rough treatment Caitlin was getting, he didn't say, be patient. He basically said, hit back.
I would love Caitlin to do is get up one time and then just slap the out of her.
And no, that wasn't a joke. Reggie Miller meant every word. He's not just frustrated for Caitlin Clark, he's frustrated himself. He sees what's been happening, the constant hits, the hard fouls, the strange silence from the league and from other players. And he's finally saying, enough is enough. Because when you have a player like Caitlin, who is boosting your ratings, bringing in new fans and making your league more popular, you protect her. Period. But since nobody in charge is doing that, Reggie is saying what others are scared to say. Not because he wants drama, but because maybe it takes one strong moment to finally make people pay attention. And guess who else knows how to send a message like that? A man with 7 NBA rings. Robert Horry doesn't talk much. But when he does, it's cold, it's honest, and it's real. So when Shaquille O'Neal said Caitlin Clark should wait her turn, Robert Horry didn't try to be nice. He didn't defend Shaq. He didn't tiptoe around the topic. He shut the whole thing down with one sentence.
Shaq said he loved Caitlin Clark, but, quote, she needs to wait her turn. Do you agree with the idea that great players, no matter how great they are, need to wait their turn? This was from Ben.
Hey, first of all, let's start off with Shaq. You ain't wait your...
Straight up, that wasn't just Robert Horry clapping back. That was a bold message for everyone saying Caitlin Clark should slow down or wait her turn before she gets respect. Horry's not buying that. Why should she wait when the league is already making money off her? Why should she be patient when she's the reason the spotlight is even shining on women's basketball right now? Let's be real. Caitlin Clark has done more in a few months than some WNBA players did in 10 whole years. And Horry sees that clearly. He's watched stars rise. He knows what greatness looks like. And what he sees in Caitlin. It's not something that needs to wait. But if that wasn't clear enough, Paul Pierce came in and took it even further. He said what Caitlin is dealing with right now is something no other player has ever gone through. And this isn't coming from just anyone. Paul Pierce knows what it's like to have the world watching. He's played under pressure, lived through it, and won through it. But even he says, the pressure Caitlin Clark faces today? It's on another level. And he didn't say that casually. He said it with real respect. The kind of respect that only comes from someone who's been through the fire themselves.
Players like this come around once, sometimes in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been
once in a generation, certainly.
But no player in NBA, in WNBA history has had to deal with this, right?
What?
What she's dealing with.
What?
Like,
what is she dealing with?
Fouling from day one already, but she's been crowned. I mean, she's already, nobody, who was the face of the league in the first few years of the WNBA?
That pause, that little stutter, that was Paul Pierce searching for another example and not finding one. Because there is no other. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she became the center of it overnight. She's everywhere, in endorsements, in TV ratings, on every headline, and under huge pressure to perform. And every other player, no matter how long they've been in the league, is watching her every move. Pierce knows what it feels like to be called the next big thing too soon. He's been there. He knows how tough it is when the world expects greatness right away. But Caitlin? She's dealing with even more. She's facing race talk in the media, jealousy from other players, silence from the league, and cameras in her face all the time. Pierce didn't say she's perfect. He didn't say she's already done it all. But he made one thing very clear, backhand index pointing right. Nobody has ever gone through this much pressure, backhand index pointing right this fast, backhand index pointing right, and still kept standing tall. And if that wasn't enough, Kevin Garnett, stepped in. And when Kevin talks, he doesn't play it safe. He doesn't care if people get mad. He doesn't try to make it sound nice. When KG speaks, he speaks from the heart. And when he spoke about Caitlin Clark, he made it real, raw, and deep.
It's a privilege too, though. It's a privilege, though. It's a privilege to be in a position where others are hating on you. And when others are hating on you, that means you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying?
And just like that, Kevin Garnett changed the whole way people talk about how Caitlin Clark is being treated. Most people see the hard fouls, the angry looks, and all the hate, and ask, why is this happening to her? But KG sees it differently. He says, good. Because he knows something important. People only hate you when you're a real threat. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She is changing the game. She's making more money come in, she's making the media pay attention, she's making fans care more. And all that hate she's getting? It means it's working. KG knows what it's like to be that player. The one with the target on their back, the one others want to stop. But he's not giving Caitlin pity. He's giving her advice. He's saying, if people aren't mad at you, then you're not doing enough. Then another legend spoke up, not just about the hate, but about what should happen next. Rick Barry didn't just say what's happening is unfair. He didn't try to be careful with his words. He didn't speak softly. He went straight to the point. Because while some old players are just now saying that Caitlin Clark is getting hit too much, Rick Barry said something more serious. He said the league needs to do something, and do it now.
I think it's reprehensible what they're allowing some of these players to do. Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing it.
This isn't just someone sharing an opinion. This is a Hall of Famer saying the league needs to take responsibility. Rick Barry isn't saying Caitlin Clark needs to be protected like a child. He's saying the WNBA needs to wake up. Right now, they are letting players hit and hurt their most valuable player, and acting like that's normal. This isn't just a hard screen during the game. It's about why they're hitting her. Not because of how she plays, but because of who she is. And Rick sees it clearly. He's not asking for special rules just for Caitlin. He's asking the league to treat her fairly, like they would for any other star. Because if any other big-name NBA or WNBA player got tackled like Caitlin does, there would be fines, ejections, maybe even a big press statement. But when it's Caitlin, nothing happens. No whistle. No warning. Just silence. Rick Barry is saying what the league won't say. You're letting this happen, and it's wrong. And here's the worst part. Some of the same players who are making money and getting attention because of Caitlin, are the ones hitting her the hardest? George Gervin saw it too. He's known as the Iceman, cool, calm, and a legend. But when he talked about Caitlin Clark, he didn't stay cool. He spoke with fire. Gervin didn't just talk about the hate. He went deeper. He talked about value, the value Caitlin brings to every single player in the WNBA, even the ones who are throwing elbows at her.
Don't think about it, y'all. I mean, we're dealing with imperfect people. I mean, and, when you look at it, they don't know the value that she's bringing for all of them. She bringing, they flying private planes now. They weren't flying private before she came. They on major networks now. They weren't doing that. See, she remind me of Tiger Woods for golf.
Yes.
He changed the paycheck.
Think about that for a second. Tiger Woods changed golf forever. Now, Caitlin Clark is doing the same thing for women's basketball. And George Gervin? He wasn't finished yet.
I think she has the Tiger Woods effect, the way he put golf fans in a craze. Whether you're a golf fan or not, you tuned in and you wanted to learn about the game because he was so incredible. I think she has that effect.
This isn't just someone saying something nice. It's a warning to the league, to the players, to the people in charge. Caitlin Clark is helping everyone. She's the reason there are better flights, more money, and more fans. But at the same time, she's the one getting hit the most. That's not fair, and George Gervin sees it clearly. But he's not the only one speaking up. Matt Barnes said what most people are too scared to say. He's always honest, on the court, on podcasts, on TV. And when he talked about Caitlin Clark, he didn't just support her. He told a hard truth everyone needed to hear.
Something I just don't like, and I don't care what people say, I feel like there's a lot of hate on Caitlin Clark. And I think because she's white.
That was a big compliment. But then Matt Barnes said the part that everyone else was too scared to say out loud.
Now, they're running. You see creativity, you see originality, you see all that stuff in transition now because the floor is spread. As soon as they get the ball, make a miss, they are out, man. They are out, filling the lanes, running their spots, getting to their spot. Why? Because they know Caitlin gonna give it up. That's the beauty that we're watching in basketball right now with Caitlin Clark.
There it is. No dodging. No fancy words. No pretending. Matt Barnes just said it clearly. A lot of the hate Caitlin gets is because of race. And he's not wrong. Caitlin isn't the first guard to play with flash. She's not the first great scorer. She's not the first to play with confidence. But she is the first white woman to be made the face of the WNBA from day one. And some people don't like that. Barnes is saying what many people only say in whispers. This isn't just about paying your dues or rookies needing to be tough. It's about some people feeling uncomfortable with who's now in the spotlight. He didn't say it to start drama. He said it because it's the truth. And when something's true, it doesn't need defending.
Say what's up, but I'm not the type to say what's up to interrupt your workout because I don't like people to interrupt mine. She can shoot the shit out of it.
And the WNBA assist leader past year.
She can shoot the shit out the ball.
She's a great shooter.
And she's one of those workout people.
That wasn't just a nice compliment. That was real basketball talk from a legend. Isaiah Thomas wasn't just talking about how many points Caitlin Clark scores. He was talking about how she changes the whole game just by being on the court. She doesn't just shoot. She makes her teammates move better. She speeds up the game. She makes the WNBA more exciting. She creates space, movement, and new plays, and she's doing all that as a rookie. Isaiah Thomas, one of the smartest point guards in NBA history, sees Caitlin as the leader. Not just a shooter. Not just a scorer. The engine that makes the whole team go. When a Hall of Famer breaks your game down like that, that's not hype, that's proof. And then came someone else who knows hard work when he sees it, Patrick Beverley. He didn't talk a lot. But the few words he said? Full of respect. Beverley doesn't give out compliments for free. He's built his career on defense, hard work, and never giving up. So when a guy like that respects someone's game, especially a young player who works just as hard, it means everything.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. This girl is incredible. The number of attention, eyeballs, she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here? And the thing I love about her, she never says a word.
That last line, one of those workout people, that's the biggest praise Patrick Beverley can give. Because to him, that means you show up early, you stay late, you don't ask for attention, you just work hard even when no one's watching. And that's how he sees Caitlin Clark. Someone who lives in the gym. Someone who earns everything she's getting. Pat Bev didn't try to hype her up like she's the next superstar. He just told the truth. She can shoot. She can see the whole court. She stays focused. And maybe that's why some players don't know how to handle her. Because they only see the fame. The TV interviews, the private flights, the headlines. But they don't see the hard work behind it. Pat Bev sees it. He's lived that life himself. And that's why he respects her so much. And then came the mic drop. Charles Barkley spoke. And he didn't hold back. Barkley is always loud, always real, and never afraid to say what others won't. But this time, when he talked about how the WNBA is treating Caitlin Clark, he didn't just tell the truth. He dropped a bomb on live TV. That wasn't just a comment. That was a serious warning. Charles Barkley didn't just talk. He called out everything. He called out the jealous players, the older vets who act bitter, the media people with bias, and the league itself for messing up their biggest chance ever. Barkley told the truth. Caitlin Clark is the reason WNBA players now fly on private jets. The league is getting more news coverage. Players are finally getting the benefits they've been asking for. And how do some players act? They give her the cold shoulder. They target her. They act like she didn't earn her success. Barkley's message was simple. You asked for this moment. Don't ruin it. Because like her or not, Caitlin Clark has already changed everything. And Barkley? If he has to be the first one to say it out loud, he's not scared to light that fire. Think about it. If Magic Johnson, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, George Gervin, and Charles Barkley all see what's going on and aren't afraid to speak, what is everyone else waiting for? They're not confused. They're not scared. They're not staying silent. So why is the league? Caitlin doesn't need anyone to protect her. She's already shown she can handle the hits. But when legends speak like this, they're not doing it for her. They're doing it for everyone else. They're telling the truth. The double standards. The cheap fouls. The jealousy. The league's silence. No more sugarcoating. Matt Barnes called the hate what it is. Reggie Miller said maybe Caitlin needs to slap someone to make them stop. Rick Barry said the league should suspend anyone who targets her. George Gervin said she's the Tiger Woods of women's basketball. Charles Barkley said, this league is fumbling its biggest star ever. So now I ask you, how many more signs do we need? Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA. She changed the game. She took the spotlight, turned empty seats into full arenas, and brought women's basketball into the spotlight, with nothing but her jump shot and a strong will to win. And now, the legends of basketball, the ones who helped build this sport, are sending a message to the players today. Pay attention. Respect what's happening. Respect Caitlin, or you'll get left behind. Because what Caitlin Clark is doing right now, it's not just hype. It's not just for today. It's the start of something big. It's the beginning of a real legacy.